Yo, Players Choice family, what's going on? Well, we are back on YouTube. I know last week I said that you'll catch us on playback. Well, hey, things change. We got to adapt. We got to keep rocking with it. We're going to keep dropping content for you. We know that we're going to always do that. Whether it's on playback, YouTube, I don't know, Twitter, Instagram, I don't care, whatever. We're going to be here dropping content for y'all. Believe that.
We everywhere.
Believe that. Yeah. Chill, what's going on? How you living? How's your weekend started? I know it just started, but how's it going?
It did. Well, actually, it started yesterday, but it's been good, yo. It's been good, but basketball season is not over. Basketball season is not over. We got the summer league going on. We still got free agency. We still got the Olympics going on, right? We still got all kinds of other stuff going on, man. So yeah, I'm in the middle of it. I'm right in the middle of it with my man Big Ox. We doing it.
Speaking of Olympics, did you get a chance to check out that Canada versus France? I didn't get to.
I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see a lot of it. I saw a little bit of it. Unfortunately for Canada, I know we live in a real guard heavy, wing heavy league. That's just not conducive for international basketball. It's not. Right. You need big guys, and if you don't have big guys, you're gonna struggle. And Team Canada doesn't have legit big guys that do what those big guys in Europe do. Like Powell, he doesn't. And, Kelly O. Kelly O's a little bit advanced in age. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Dudes like Shea. Shea's going to get busy. Jamal Murray's going to get busy. Guys like that are going to get busy, right? The difference, though, is that if you don't have that 6'10" guy, if you don't have that 7-foot guy on the block or that big guy that's not, if you don't have that big guy, it's just not going to work. It isn't. And I understand that, as good as Canada is on the wing, that it looks good, but ultimately, I think that they could medal, but in terms of beating the US, like Germany, teams like that, Serbia, I think they're gonna struggle.
Okay. We got some early super chats in here. First we got a new member. Ezekiel Marion. Shout out to Ezekiel. Appreciate that. New members are always welcome. Got another new member, Free Night. Okay, shout out to Free Night. A super chat from Swiper, no swiping. Chill. I think the Clippers should have taken the Nets route and blown things up a year ago. The Nets were smart to see this wasn't working and change direction. I don't see where the Clippers are going.
I'll tell you where they are going. I can tell you where they're not going. They ain't going into financial obscurity. They just opened up a new arena. Who are we introducing in this new arena? They're getting off Russ. We introducing Terrence Mann and Zubac. No, we ain't doing that. We got to introduce some people to sell some tickets. Of course, they're not winning the NBA championship. You already know how I feel about Kawhi Leonard. I feel like he's the post that's holding up this tent. I don't think he's going to be in the league in another year, 2 years tops, because I don't think physically he can hold up. But they still going to sell tickets with him and with James Harden. They still going to sell tickets with those guys. So I understand that you see it from the aspect of winning NBA championships, but we still got to sell tickets too. This is still a business. And who do we have on the moniker? If we don't have anybody on the moniker, ain't nobody coming to see us. So they definitely need that.
They don't want to go back to the Clippers of old when they were passing tickets out. No.
Just give them tickets away. We don't want to do that.
Speaking of which, chill. Is this new season? Are they out of the stepper now? They all Figueroa now, or are they one more season?
No, this is it. No, the new arena opened the 24-25 season. The new arena opens. Yep.
That's what's up. I'm not even going to attempt to try to get down there for a game. I know I'm not even going to try that this year. Give it a year or two. Maybe I can get down and check out the new arena. I see another super chat from Brax the Bandit. I'm gonna wait for that. I'm gonna hold on for that super chat because we're gonna get into those offseason moves here shortly. But obviously, we're gonna let people get into get in here and let's talk about a couple other things. Chill. So, it's word out there. Now, I didn't necessarily hear this come out his mouth, but Dwayne Wade says he was en route. He was on his way to knocking MJ off his throne. But injuries derailed that mission. Now, how do you feel about that? And do you think that D-Wade had the game had the size, the ability, and everything needed to knock MJ off that throne.
So 2 things, Ox. Number one, I understand where he's coming from. I do. And but the reason why I'm saying I understand where he's coming from, Ox, because I want you to take D Wade off the table for a second, and I want you to fast forward to this season that just passed, the 23-24 season, right?
Okay.
I want you to stay there, and I want you to imagine if Minnesota had won the NBA championship. You got a 22-year-old Anthony Edwards, and he wins the finals MVP. You already see how Anthony Edwards is, right? How brash he is, how confident he is. If they would have ended up seeing Boston in the NBA finals and beat them, and he was the finals MVP at 22 years old, he's thinking, ain't no reason why this can't continue. None. He ain't thinking about getting derailed from injuries. He's not thinking about getting hurt. He's not thinking about his game slipping off. In fact, as young as he is, he's thinking, yo, there's no reason why I can't keep doing this until I'm old and gray. Because none of you dudes out here can see me. At 23 years old, Dwayne Wade at that time, I mean, he averaged 36 a game in the finals. He was awesome playing with a first-team All-Pro in Shaq. He was fantastic. 23 years old. He ain't thinking about getting hurt. He ain't thinking about injuries. He ain't thinking about his game slipping. He thinking about the fact that we just won an NBA championship. I'm in year 3. I ain't in year 7, year 8, and we talking about something different. No, I'm in year 3. I feel great. There's no reason why this can't continue. Now, the flip side to that, though, Ox, is at no point did I ever, as good as he was, even at that time, as good as he was, I never thought that he was better than 24. Never thought that he was better than Bryant. I don't, as good as he was. But I understand his logic and how he was feeling during that time. 100%. He was looking at the world like, yo, none of these dudes out here can see me. None of them.
Well, chill. In his defense, I mean, he said what stopped him from knocking MJ off was injury. Sure. Do you think maybe if it wasn't for some of those injuries that he could have caught Bean? Like maybe we might look at that a little different. Like, man, he was as good as Cole.
I don't think he was, to be honest with you, barring injuries, I don't ever think he was better than Bryant. He didn't have the box work Bryant had. He ain't had a mid-range game Bryant had. He wasn't a defender that Bryant was. I don't think he was the one-on-one player that Kobe Bryant was. That doesn't mean that he wasn't fantastic. Ox, I equated to Jordan and Drex. Anybody not named Michael Jordan, Drex gave him hell. None of them dudes. Mitch Richmond, line them all up. Mitch Richmond, Joe Dumas, Reggie Miller, line all of them dudes up. None of them dudes could see him. He just wasn't 23 good. That doesn't mean he wasn't fantastic. Same logic, I feel like, goes for Dwayne Wade. As good as Dwayne Wade was at his apex, I'm talking like 2009 when he was, I think he led the league in scoring. Like, we're talking about a dude who, if he could have continued that, I think there would be a conversation. And I will tell you this, Ox, he would have been higher on the all-time list because I think that they would have won more. Not only would they have won more, he would have been better. But ultimately, I don't think that he was ever better than Bryant, ever on any level. But I do understand why he felt like that, considering how young he was and considering what he was doing. I get it. I 100% get that. 100% I get that.
I certainly do. And he was 35 on that ESPN list. You just brought the word list, and just hearing that word list just triggered something with me.
That's wild as hell.
Because I did a stream last night completely dedicated to that list. Yeah. And when I finally start going through it and I start realizing some things about that list, I was pissed, chill. I was pissed. Real quick, I don't want to get too far into it, chill, but
I'm gonna get your blood pressure up.
I gotta say this. There is a clear agenda. Something's going on over there at ESPN, because what I realize is all those 100 athletes, there's only 2 continents that don't have an athlete to represent it. And those 2 continents are Africa and Antarctica.
And Antarctica don't count because ain't nobody there. So we can take Antarctica.
And we got in Africa, there's world-class long-distance runners, guys that have broken records, marathons, gold medalists in Ethiopia and Kenya specifically, and not one of those brothers could have got in the top 100 list. I got an issue with that. I got a big issue with that.
Well, Ox, my brother actually runs marathons. He doesn't run them anymore, but like 10 years ago, he was heavy in the marathon scene. And the world record for the marathon, I believe, for the New York, not the New York City marathon, for the marathon period, I think it was 1 hour and 58 minutes. Yeah, 1 hour and 58 minutes. That was the world record. and it was won by a Kenyan dude. Ox, I don't know how your math works. That's 5 minute. That's 5-minute miles for 26 straight miles. Okay, for 26 straight miles, I'm running 5.5-minute miles for 26 straight. Don't tell me that Tom Brady is a better athlete than that. No, he isn't. He is not. You're not selling me that. No way is Patrick Mahomes a better athlete than that right there. The mental fortitude that you have to just run. And I don't want to cut you off here, Ox. The mental fortitude that you have to just run is one thing. But to run for almost 2 hours straight at a specific pace, right?
A quick pace too.
Right. Like I'm not jogging. No, I'm running. I'm actually running for 2 straight hours. And you telling me that there is not one long distance runner on this list? I'm good. I'm straight.
Yeah, it was. I felt that there was clear disrespect. Like the only other continent to not have a athlete is Antarctica.
And ain't nobody there, so we can't even count them because ain't nobody on the continent of Antarctica. Only people down there is people doing research. Ain't no athletes down there like that. They doing research on why the hell it's so damn cold down there. That's it.
It's crazy to me. And mind you, the fellas, a lot of people they've gotten on me about my disrespect for race car drivers, which I didn't mean any disrespect. All I'm saying is,
I'm on your page, Jogs, to be quite
we're driving cars. You know what I'm saying? I understand this. I understand it's tough. I understand it's hard. I do understand that. I understand you gotta have quick twitch muscles, fast reflexes, hand-eye coordination. I understand that. But these dudes are driving vehicles, and these dudes are running for how long you say, Chill? Two hours straight at a really fast pace. Like I know people that can't hike for 2 hours straight.
Think about that. Walking. For 2 straight hours. To get behind the wheel of a car, I can appreciate the logic. To get behind the wheel of a car going 200 miles an hour, sure, it takes some mental fortitude. You know, you got to be strong mentally to do that. Just the idea of just running from here to there, what it takes, the strength, the endurance to just run from here to there. That's one thing. To run for 2 hours straight. Like when you get to mile like 12, or you get to mile like 17, like what's going on in your head? How much that hurts. And they doing it like it's nothing. And remember too, the Kenyans, they train in the mountains. So that air up there at 8,000 feet, you know, it's thin as paper. So when they come down here, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right. And I don't want to get too far into that, like I said, because I could go on a tangent for this whole hour, hour and a half, because it really had me upset. But I'm gonna stay focused and let's keep the show going. FIFA Boy dropped the super chat, said respect Antarctica athletes again. I got you, man. Them Penguins doing their thing down there, FIFA. You're right, bro. You're right.
Right.
Yeah. But moving on though, let's get into a little bit more of the summer league action. This is because as we talked about before, like this draft was a little weird in the sense of we didn't see who was going to be superstars, any like real all-star players in this draft. But there are some really good players nonetheless.
Sure.
How do you feel about how do you say his name?
Mateus Bazelis.
Bazelis. I might as well just say his last name. Caesar didn't say his last name. So how do you feel about Bazelis? How do you like his game? Do you see the Bulls maybe building around him, or is he a piece around somebody else that they're waiting for or looking to get? What do you think about the Bulls' future with him?
Ox, when I watch players, one of the things that I look for more than anything is I look for confidence. How do you feel about how you out here? How do you feel about being out here? What do you see when you out here? Are you uncomfortable? Because Ox, you could tell when a dude on the floor, he ain't sure if he should be out here. He's not sure how good he is. You can tell throughout the course of a game a dude like that. Mateus doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. He strikes me as the kind of guy like I belong out here.
Right.
And not only do I belong out here, I belong out there with the big boys, and it's not going to take me long to figure this out. And I like the fact that he has that kind of confidence. The stuff in his game, I feel like we can work on that. I've always told you, Ox, if I see the athletic ability, if I see the work ethic, if I see the raw skill set, we can fix all that other stuff. Because I know for a fact that other stuff that I can't teach you is already there. So we can fix that other stuff. And he has that competitive. He has that fire in him. He's got that competitive edge in him. The fact that he wants to compete. It's almost like when I saw Wemby and Chet. When I saw Wemby and Chet, where Wemby was looking at Chet like, "Why you got this dude in front of me? He can't do nothing with me." I feel like Matas is like that when it comes to those guys in the summer league, and I feel like the Chicago Bulls.
You already said about Richard earlier.
Yes, he did. I respect him. I got a lot of respect for him. Yes, I do. But he can't see me. He don't want nothing to do with me. And that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for a player, especially when you actually deliver that. And I'm watching him in the summer league get downhill. He's dunking on guys. He's actually playing in the mid-range, right? He's one of those guys that once he starts to figure it out, he could be like he kind of gives me like a better version of Detlef Schrempf. That's what I'm looking at when I see him. Like a guy in the mid-range who could score it, who could crack the long ball. Not only crack the long ball, but as tough as nails.
Was he that big?
Detlef was 6'10". Every bit of
really?
6'10".
Oh,
yes.
shit. I thought Detlef Schrempf was like 6'7".
No, every bit of 6'10". Before Tony Kukoc, it was Detlef Schrempf. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. So with that being said, I look at this guy and I feel like Chicago has the building blocks. That's why I think like a lot of people talk about these teams like the Bulls, like what about my team? What about my team? And they're so wrapped up in what they did in the past and they want them to get back to that, when in reality, it's okay for your team to build something. And I feel like the Chicago Bulls in the process of building something. You got Josh Giddey. You still got Kobe White, who I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about Kobe White. I'm not going to say he's garbage because I don't think he's garbage. I think he's a damn good player, but I'm not sure about him. I think you got your lead guard of the future in Josh Giddey. And I think you got your other big in Matas. I think you have that. So I feel like the Bulls are building something when you get young kids like this, right? When you get young kids like this and you tell people in your city, especially basketball cities, yo, this is the route we're going. They're not telling people, yo, we making the playoffs next year. They're not doing that. And the reason why they're not doing that, because they know that that's not realistic. But this is what we're building with. If you building with this, the people in Chicago will get behind it. Like, all right, let's get behind these guys and see what they have. As opposed to when you lying to them and you get Matas, you get Josh Giddey, yo, we got a legit shot at making the playoffs next year. No, you don't. You do not. You don't. But the summer league is a bit of a gauge where you can see these kids and see what you're working with. You might not see them as a whole, right? I don't see this dude. I don't see these guys as a whole, but I do see the potential there. I do see the raw talent, and we can work with that as opposed to we don't get to see none of these guys, and all we got to do is wait until the season starts because that was going on a long time ago.
Right. What about staying with the Bulls? What's the deal with Zach LaVine? Is he's suiting up? He's playing for the Bulls now, or like what's going on? Have you heard anything from Zach?
I haven't heard anything, but I think it's I think it's what's going on with Danny Ainge with
Laurie.
Yeah, with Lauri Markkanen. I'm sorry. I think it's going on the same thing that's going on with Lauri Markkanen, where I think Zach LaVine plays for the Bulls, and I think that he comes out and gets busy, and then that raises his stock value. They can get draft picks for him. I think this is the last year of his deal, so he's a guy that's getting traded on the last year of his deal. Even though he holds a lot of leverage, they probably wouldn't have to give up much for him in terms of trading for him. So you'd probably get a couple of first-round picks. Maybe get back another player, but nobody's giving you a star for Zach LaVine, which I take no issue with that because the Bulls, they building something. So what do we need? We need draft picks, right? We need draft capital, very much like what they're doing in Oklahoma City, where you building something, and in the process of you building something, you hit in the draft, and if you hit in the draft, Chicago starts to get better. We can actually get free agents to come to Chicago, right? We can get free agents. This isn't Portland. This isn't Minnesota, where it's going to be difficult to get guys to come here. We can get guys to come to Chicago. So I think the thing with Zach LaVine is them holding on to him right now, and with them holding on to him right now, waiting for the season to start, him getting busy, that stock rising, and now we can move off of him and get something for him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious to see what happens with Zach because I mean he's still a very talented player. I don't want to see him, waste away anywhere. another young guy that I think has been playing really good in the summer league. A guy I wanted to get a chance to talk about yesterday on the panel, but man, the kids was in here. I had to go for a couple seconds.
Daddy duties to do it, D.
They got crazy. Man, they in here jumping on the bed. Somehow my daughter gets knocked off the bed. It's crazy. But Khalil Wade.
Yeah.
I like that kid, yeah.
Ox, we're gonna look. I think we're gonna look back on this draft. To be honest with you, this is one of those drafts that we're gonna look back on and see guys that were picked late in the first round, in the middle of the first round, and be like, this is the GM. This is when GMs GM. And I feel like with the Miami Heat, the fact that Khalil Wade fell in their lap at 16. I mean, how much? What I think with him falling in their lap at 16 is very much like Dalton falling in the Lakers' lap at 17. I don't think they thought they could get him. I don't. Considering who he is, how good he was in the Big Ten. I think he was in the top 3 in the league in blocks. I think he was in the top 5 in the league in rebounding. He was a guy that was on their board, but I don't think he was a guy that they thought they could get. Only to find out that we getting later in the draft, and this kid ends up falling to us. If you think about what Khalil Wade does, Ox, this is exactly why I felt like, and I still feel like this to this day, and I'm probably in the minority, I'm cool moving off of buckets. Because I feel like with this kid Ware, I feel like we can move Bam to the 4. We can build this thing around Bam. We already got our small forward of the future in Jaime Jaquez. I got my small forward of the future in Jaime Jaquez. I got my 5-man. I can move Bam to the 4. I still need to upgrade at the lead guard. No, Ox, not Terry Rozier. I know how you feel about him. Okay. I know how you feel about him, but no Terry Rozier. I think we can upgrade at the lead guard spot, and I think that guy's in the draft too, to be honest with you. I think that guy is in the draft too, just like especially next year's draft coming up, or maybe we can nudge Oklahoma City to hand over that kid Topich. Maybe we can maybe we can get Oklahoma City to hand that kid Topich over, and we can move on from that if we can get them to do that. With that being said, I think he provides everything that they need from a 5-man. He's a damn good rim protector. He's great around the basket. He's lively. He gets up and down the floor with the best of them. He is not soft. Not only is he not soft, you and me had this conversation, Ox, last year when you turned me on to Jaime Jaquez. You're the one who turned me on to Jaime Jaquez. I didn't know who Jaime Jaquez was. Watching Jaime Jaquez, I'm thinking to myself, if you see a player that personifies a specific organization, that's Jaime Jaquez. He just looks like he should be playing for the Miami Heat. If he was playing somewhere else, you would say he'd be great for the Miami Heat because he's perfect for them, right? So I feel like you got that, right? You got that there. I feel the same way with this kid Ware. I feel the same way with him. I think that not Alonzo Mourning type. I'm not going to go that far, but I feel like he can be a really good 5-man for them. That's why I wanted to move off of buckets.
He gets off the ground quick. He's explosive. It don't take him long to get off that ground. He's jumping fast. He got a quick second jump. I like this kid. He might end up being the steal. He might. You know how every year it's like, who was the steal of the draft? Right. It might end up being him.
That's and another thing. Go ahead, keep going.
Another thing about Miami is they still got Nikola Jovic over there. And so I think he's still getting better. He's a youngster. Yeah. I don't think Miami's future is dim. I think they still got something to build on into. And to your point, if they were to move off of Jimmy, I'm gonna ask you to do a little GMing here in a couple minutes anyway. So let's warm up right now, Chill. If you had to make a move this season, maybe this trade deadline and moving off of Jimmy, do you have any idea of where you might be wanting to send him on and who you might be thinking of getting back? Is it just draft picks, or because obviously you're gonna have to get another young player for Jimmy, right? So could you think of anybody that you think might be that guy for Miami?
I want to upgrade at the lead guard spot, to be honest with you, Ox. And I don't think that I'm going to be able to get a star or a more established guy for buckets. A guy like Trae Young, he doesn't really personify what the Miami Heat are. And I think I'm good on him, even though he's a great lead guard. You know what, to be honest with you, Ox, if I knew that I could get some health from him, Lonzo would be great. I would 100% call up the Bulls and ask for Lonzo Ball. And I could get him on the cheap. Right. I can get him on the cheap, and I think that he is everything that we need. 5, 6 assist a game guy, distributor. He could knock down open shots. My question is, can he still play? Because if he could still play, I think he would be great for what they're doing in Miami.
Right.
Still young, right? Still young, still got some life to him. And if I could get him plus with Bucket and plus with Bam, plus with this kid Ware, plus with Hawkheads, I love the direction of which way we're going. I love that direction. I probably have to throw in, or with getting Jimmy back, you'll probably have to throw in some more draft picks, which I'm not really sure that the Bulls is interested in that, because again, what they're trying to do is they're trying to build, right?
Yeah.
They're not trying to hand over any of their draft picks. They're trying to build what they have. So I don't think Jimmy would be in Chicago. I wouldn't disrespect him like that, but a place like maybe New Orleans.
Yeah, I was thinking Trey Murphy.
Yeah, maybe a place like New Orleans. But I'm thinking with Herb Jones, would that work? Because Buckets, I mean, they already got their young small forward there. Mm-hmm. Buckets is on the other side of his career. I don't want to do him dirty neither, Ox. I want to do him. I want to do him a solid, even though I don't owe him anything. He was with the Miami Heat for 5 years, so I'm not trading him to Philly, the Knicks. I'm not doing that. Let's get to the bottom of that right now. Hell no. Right. I'm not trading him to any of those teams. Nuh-uh. Right. I'm not trying to hear that. But the question is where does he fit the most? Like Houston does work, but Jimmy's a little bit older, and I don't want to disrupt what they're doing in Houston either. I don't want to disrupt what we're doing in Houston either. So the one guy that I'm thinking about, Ox, is Lonzo. If I could get the Bulls to hand over Lonzo for buckets, I mean, I don't know. Miami wouldn't do that, but Chicago 100% would.
Right. I think there's going to be a lot of teams watching really closely to see how Lonzo's looking in the first couple months of the season. You know, obviously it's going to be, he's going to have to get back in shape and game shape, some conditioning. But I think there's going to be a lot of teams looking at him and making some phone calls to Chicago if Lonzo stays healthy through Christmas time and, is able to play and kind of get back to his old ways. One guy I would like to throw in there before we move on is maybe Darius Garland. If they need a young lead guard guy, and I know Cleveland needs a small forward, so maybe.
To be honest with you, Ox, I never thought of Buckets as a 3-man. He always played the 2. And I feel like those was his best. But, I mean, that's what he plays now. He plays the 3. But I actually like him in Cleveland. That wouldn't bother me at all. Would Cleveland hand over Darius Garland to Miami for Jimmy Butler? I mean, if Cleveland would do that, yes. 100% I would do that. Yes, 100%.
Definitely. Before we do get into the offseason stuff, I have one more thing, and I meant to talk to you about this before with the Dwayne Wade thing. Do you think guys like that, like obviously D Wade said that about catching Jordan? Do you think that's a thing that guys today are like concerned with, worried about the generational talents of yesteryear, like comparing themselves to them and chasing their legacies? Is that something that's going on in the minds of these stars today?
Ox, you yourself, you've seen guys, younger guys, and you've said to yourself, man, at 22, I wouldn't mind going up against him. When I was at my best, I would like to go up against him. And they won't say it out loud out of respect for the game, right? They won't say it out loud. But if you think about a lot of these guys, not a lot of these guys, all of them. I mean, let's call it what it is. All of them. They're all competitors, right? So with them being competitors, I'm sure, I'm not on the fence about this. I'm certain that Kobe Bryant said to Jerry West, Jerry, when you was young, I'll bust your ass. And I'm sure that Jerry West looked at Kobe like, man, you would have had hell with me. I would have gave you everything that you was looking for. I'm sure Chamberlain saw a 22-year-old Shaq and was like, man, what I would get to be 22 years old to go up against that dude to see how good I really am, right? One of the other guys that I always use as an example, they won't say it out loud, but I'm sure Elgin Baylor, when he was older, he was sitting around with his fellas and they was like, yo, that boy Dominique Wilkins is something else. And I'm sure Elgin was like, man, he couldn't do nothing with me. He couldn't do nothing with me. Off the strength that these guys are competitors. Jordan, he might not say it out loud, right? Jordan might not say it out loud, but we've seen clips of Jordan telling Magic, yo, go put your shoes on. We can go play one-on-one right now. I'm sure that he look at Jerry West. I'm sure that he looks at Pistol Pete, right? I'm sure he look at Sam Jones and Oscar Robertson like, man, I would have loved that going up against him. I would have loved that going up against him to see how nice he really was, to see how good he really was. Hell yeah, these dudes measure themselves against these other guys because that's just part of basketball. I still do it to this day. I'm 51 years old. I look at some of these guys, not just in the NBA, even in college. I'm like, yo, when I was 19, a prime example, I forget the kid's name. He plays at Creighton. And he's averaging like 18 games in the Big East. And I'm like, when I was 20 years old, I would love to have gone up against him. Right. I would have loved to gone up against him. So that's just part of being a competitor more than anything. That it's not a disrespect, right? It's not a disrespect. It's in boxing. I'm sure Muhammad Ali looked at Jack Johnson. I'm sure he looked at Rocky Marciano. I'm sure he looked at Mike Tyson like, man, when I was at my best, I would have liked to have gotten in the ring with him. I would have loved to have gotten in the ring with him.
It's not like you said, it's a competitor. It's not a disrespect thing. In fact, I think it's a respect thing. You know what I mean? To me, I think it's a respect thing. Like, yeah, I want to play you because I think you like that. You know what I'm saying? If you was a bum, I wouldn't even waste my time with you.
Yeah, what am I even doing with you? Your game is whack. You serious, man? Get the hell out of here. I seen you playing. You whack, man. Why are we even having a conversation with you? But to see these other guys, right? For Jordan to see Oscar Robertson, for him to see Jerry West, right? For him to see Sam Jones and be like, you know, this 6'5", 6'4" guy, I would have loved to have gone up against him. For him to see Dwayne Wade, I'm sure he's looking at Dwayne Wade like, I would have bust your ass. And Wade quietly, right? Wade might not say it out loud, but Wade quietly, like you just said, when he was 23 years old winning the NBA Finals, you couldn't tell Wade that he couldn't go up against Jordan at 23 years old. Hell yeah, he would have loved to have done that. Now, does he think he's better than him at 23? No, but in his mind, he's like, yo, I'm coming. So you better get ready for me because he ain't thinking about getting hurt. He's not thinking about his game falling off. He's thinking about, yo, I'm on my way. So these guys at their best, that's just part of being competitors, man. That's just part of it. Bryant, seeing Jerry West, all of these guys. Yes, that's just part of being a competitor.
Right. Okay, we're about to get to the lobby. Let some of the guys come up and, talk about things before we get into the nitty-gritty. Before we do that, Sam came through the super chat and said, Zach has 2 years and a player option for 40 plus.
So is it that second year? So he's got 2 more years left on his deal. Let's make sure that we let's make sure that we got this correct when we talk about Zach LaVine, right? So Zach LaVine his current contract as of today, going into the 24-25 season. So he's got 2 years. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Yes, he's actually got 3 years left on his deal. The player op is the last year. So that price tag is pretty high. So this season at 43 million, then next year, then the 25-26 season at almost 46 million, and then the 26-27 season. So I think more than anything, I think it's the money right now because he got injured last year. Don't forget that, Ops. He ended up missing. He ended up missing the rest of the season. And I think there was some talk that he was going to get moved to. Excuse me, he was going to get moved to Detroit. And he ended up getting surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wasn't trying to hear that. Yeah. He wasn't trying to hear going to Detroit. And I understand that. But I think that contract is not going to look as bad if he gets busy early in the season. So we get to January, right? We ain't even at the trade deadline. But if we get to early January and he's Zach LaVine where he's 24, 25 a game and he getting busy and the Chicago Bulls might start dangling him. And I don't think that contract would be that bad.
Right. I can see that. Okay. Well, let's move on to the lobby, y'all. We got Cowboy Bob up here. He's been waiting for it. Let me see. Here we go.
Salute. Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
What up?
But I think all the moves that the top teams made, OKC, Dallas, except for the Nuggets, like 1 or 2, and Cleveland, like those 2 teams that were in the top 1 through 6 last year, probably didn't solidify as well as they did. Like the Bucks, I think they did good in picking up Jack Johnson, drafting him, and some of the players they've added. I think everyone has pretty much made good moves. But the thing I'm scared of is actually seeing which teams are going to come out of the hole. Like, for example, I think the Magic, Charlotte are going to step up. I think a lot of teams are going to be surprised by those two teams, as well as the Kings. But for me, I can't wait. I got to talk Knicks. Why y'all falling asleep on Tyler Kolek, man? In the last 4 games, he's gotten, I know it's summer league, but he's averaging 7 assists as a point guard. Like, I'm looking at him like, I ain't never seen a guard on the Knicks that can control like this. Like, don't get me wrong. We had Mark Jackson. We had good talent. But for me, what I want to see in today's game is Ball at number 17 versus against Ricochet. Ball's defense has been aggressive, and he's been nasty. And that's the thing that I think that a lot of people don't understand. These top 5 picks, like 5 or 6 picks, I don't think are really going to hold up. Look at Zach Edey, already with an ankle injury.
Right.
So I think
I don't think it's that bad. I think it's more of I don't think it's that bad. I think it's more of a precaution more than anything. They'll do that with guys in the summer league. They did the same thing last year with Thompson when he ended up rolling his ankle in the summer league. They did the same thing with Scoot. He wasn't hurt that bad, but it was more of a precaution to keep him out. And I'm not really a big fan of that because I feel like when you get injured, you got to acclimate your body to play through injury. Like anytime you get hurt, your body is trying to figure out what's going on. Well, if every time I get hurt, I tweak my ankle, I'm just going to sit down. Well, my body's not going to know to fight through this if every time this happens, I'm just sitting down. And it's just going to get progressively worse as opposed to if I bang my elbow or I get hurt on some level, I can play through that. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying that you got to play through broken bones and, compound fractures and nonsense like that. No, I ain't saying that stuff. But what I am saying is it's more of a precaution more than anything. But I do think that if you could let a dude play through a little bit of it just to see where he is, I think that would help him.
I just got 2 quick things. One, I think Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, and T-Mac would have been better at proving Jordan, like knocking Jordan off the throne had they not gotten hurt more than Wade, because they had that shooting guard with the point guard handle and can play the small forward. Like they could play 1 through 3, and it was unique at the time. I think they would have took advantage of it. But before I go, I got to talk about 2 Knicks that most people need to pay attention to: Skapinski and Huckaporty. Those 2 guys are averaging like 20 rebounds, and they're going to be nasty next year.
Together.
So I want you, together. Like Skapinski's averaging a double-double, and then you also got Huckaporty coming off giving you 8 or 9 rebounds with like 12 assists. He can pass. He got good footwork. Watch him in today's game. You guys will see. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. Go New York, go New York, go.
Knicks
Thanks, Bob. Salute everybody. Have a good one.
In the house. Be easy, brother. Good to talk to you.
Like the beam.
The Knicks is in the house, man. I mean, I feel like the Knicks, they doing something, Mox, right? I still think they overpaid for OG, and this might not be. I mean, I said the same thing about Brunson, so I might be wrong, right? I might be wrong in I might be wrong in 2 or 3 years, considering the value that OG brings. But as of right now, I feel like they overpaid for him. I think that they could have got something else.
Yeah. Well, definitely, we're gonna after we get through a couple more of the guys in the lobby, we're definitely gonna get your grade on their moves as well.
Sure, absolutely.
The Knicks definitely made some moves in the offseason, so we're gonna definitely get have you grade them along with some of these other squads. Yep. Before we do bring up this next person, let me read their super chat because I'm sure that's what you want to come up here and talk about. Brex the Bandit says, "Go ahead and acknowledge OKC having the best offseason. I'll wait. I'm patient."
The best offseason? I mean, the Knicks did a really good job in what they were doing. Dallas did a good job too. I don't think people. I'm not really that fond on the Clay thing, but I think that we ain't talking about Najee Marshall nearly as much as we should. I think that was a pretty big deal, and getting off of Tim Hardaway, I think that they did a good job in Dallas. The only knock I have on Oklahoma City is passing on Andre Drummond. I think he gives you guys.
We don't need that nigga, Chip. We don't.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
We don't need that.
Yes,
nigga,
you
bro.
do.
You
think you don't. Yes, you do. One of the best rebounders in the game. You are.
And then what else?
But that's the only issue that I have. I think you could have got him on the cheap, and we're getting him on the cheap. I think that he completes you guys because everything else now it's just about getting better. Well, I don't think you need anything else.
I'm gonna be honest.
Wait, Brex. Hold on 1 second, brother. One second.
What's good,
bro? What you shopping for, bro? Let me see your cart.
Right.
Oh, brother.
What you got in your cart,
nothing,
boy?
Right.
Nothing crazy. Just I got a couple of, just naked,
Pick me up some brown rice too, because I gotta go to the store and get some brown rice.
Some brown rice, I got
Pick me
you.
up
I
some brown
got you.
rice real quick.
Because we don't eat white rice around here, just brown rice for sure. We really
Making
don't
sure you don't got
quinoa, but
making sure you don't got a whole bunch of junk food in there, man. Eat healthy.
nah. This the worst thing I got on me right now. It's just some coffee.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Go
about
ahead.
it.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
But anyways, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want Drummond for the simple fact that OKC we're a pretty versatile team. Drummond, he's just pretty too obsolete on just rebounding to me. His defense is ass, and I would much rather just sacrifice a great rebounder that does nothing else for a good rebounder who is pretty versatile in other aspects of things. I think our pickup for iHeart is that's exactly what we were going for. Because if you heard me, if not, I wanted either three people for our bigs. I either wanted Jakob, Claxton, or iHeart. Those were the three dudes that sounded good to me. So it didn't really matter who we got. The Drummond logic, I just can't get with you, bro. He's not
you're thinking about Drummond. I
needs.
think you're thinking about Drummond on the strength of scoring, which
it's not even scoring.
I can appreciate that. You don't give him enough credit for the defender that he is. He's not as garbage as you think he is. I watch him on the perimeter. He's got hands busy. He pokes away he pokes the ball away from a lot of different dribblers. He's actually pretty good. He's pretty good on the perimeter, which is what you need to be, especially in today's game. Now on the block, it gets a little tricky because he fouls a lot. That's where the issue is. It gets a little tricky on the block, but I think I could supplement that, right? I feel like I could supplement that with his ability to rebound. Now, when you're talking about a guy who we do need you to, because he ain't Ben Wallace on offense, because he can give me something. He's not Ben Wallace.
Not even close.
No, he ain't Ben Wallace on offense. He can give me something offensively. That's why that doesn't make him obsolete. The defensive stuff, I feel like we can protect him there because we do have Chet, right? In addition
he's
to
not even.
Chet,
in my opinion, I hate to cut you off. In my opinion, but I just disagree completely because he's not even quick enough to do the things that OKC defense requires him to do. I'm not gonna fight you on him having busy hands or him having quick hands, but that's not gonna be enough. On top of the fact that everything that you're saying he's good at or decent at, Hartenstein just does it better.
I don't think Hartenstein's a better rebounder than Drummond. I don't.
Besides rebounding, I'll give him rebounding, but all the other stuff, and even to defense, just playmaking and decision making. Bro, Drummond is a god-awful decision maker. Like, I don't know if you know that. He's a terrible decision maker.
I think the problem we having is I think you think I want to replace Drummond with Hartenstein. Right. No, I don't want to do that. No.
Nah.
I actually I don't got a problem with Hartenstein on the crew. If I could get Drummond on the crew for 12 to 15 minutes and the value that he can give me, 6-7 rebounds, him cleaning glass, plus poking the ball away from time to time, getting layups, that's stuff that's for $3-4 million, and you would have got him on the cheap. Especially in that Western Conference, which is a nightmare for front line. And you're going to need that when you're going up against Minnesota. You're going to need that dealing with Anthony Davis. You're going to need that when dealing with all of those teams, and you're going to need that dealing with Joker. You're going to need that dealing with that front line in Dallas. You're going to need extra.
So basically, real quick, Beck, so chill. You're talking about as well as Isaiah Hartenstein having like a third string Andre Drummond.
He's what you call it. Hartenstein is he's the ham, he's the cheese, he's the lettuce. Drummond is the mayonnaise. Drummond is the salt and pepper. That's who he is. No, Drummond ain't the bread. Drummond is not the meat, right? Drummond's the seasoning. That's the stuff that.
So
and
basically,
to get 15 minutes of that on the cheap, no, I'm definitely not saying no to that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Drummond does not need to see 15 minutes on this team, but I get what you're saying on the aspect of
rebounding. Who else?
Who?
Chet? Who else? Because Chet ain't playing all night. Chet's not playing all night.
I don't know if you know this. After the trade deadline, we were actually a pretty solid rebounding team.
100% you were.
So
I think you're even better. I think you're even better with Drummond.
We would. I mean, I'm not denying that, but it's one of those cons outweigh the pros situation. I don't see Drummond getting 15 minutes on this team, especially since we made it obvious that Chet is still our 5. We're running Chet at the 5. There's going to be no Chet. Well, obviously there's going to be Chet in iHeart lineups.
Does he play in front of Jalen Williams? Does he play in front of Jalen Williams?
Drummond? Fuck
yes.
No.
Okay.
They probably play together, but no, not we're putting Drummond in before Jalen Williams.
Okay, all right.
So you guys aren't starting Hartenstein and Chet at the 4. Y'all starting Chet at the 5 and Hartenstein.
I'm almost certain we're starting Chet. We're still starting Chet at the 5. And if Ihart is coming up,
I hate that.
And it is.
I hate that too.
Look, it's not that I hate or don't hate it. I understand it. It's just for depth reasons at the end of the day. And if we're gonna have Ihart at the 5, that definitely makes Drummond obsolete. He has no reason to be on this team. And that's just the way it is, honestly.
We'll see about we'll see what's going on with Oklahoma City this season. We will see what's going on with Oklahoma City.
And we ain't even got to talk about Caruso and getting rid of Giddey. We know how that is, but I'm gonna let y'all get to y'all thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Hey yo, Brax, don't put no more sugar in that cart, man.
Oh no, the sugar gone, folks. The sugar done.
And please bring back the brown rice, because if you come back with $60 worth of shit, no brown rice, which is what I sent you to the store for. That's what I sent you to the store for.
In this economy, the brown rice is $60, brother. You ain't getting
it's not no 60. Hey man, I get a bag of brown rice at a Walmart for less than $1. Yo, stop playing with me.
Man, I'm gonna start growing my own rice, man. I don't know, man.
It's hard out here, yo. It is. Good to talk to you, brother.
It is. All right, Brax. And bring back all my change too.
Not some of it. You can't keep no dollars. I mean, come on, yo. I need my money, Ox. I need my bread out here, yo. I need my dough out here.
Brax.
I need my dough out here, yo. I do. I need my money, Ox. Bring my change back.
Hell yeah, man. That's some good points. I can see where Brax is coming from. See, I was pretty sure that's what you meant from the beginning, is kind of Andre Drummond as well as Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yep.
I think Brax was thinking that you meant to instead of Hartenstein. No way.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it's clear as day that Isaiah Hartenstein is better than Andre Drummond today. You know, and I really like Hartenstein. Like I even mentioned before, I would have liked for us to maybe try to grab Hartenstein, something like that. Even, you know what, Chill? Because we were talking about Khalil Ware earlier. I'm like, damn, why didn't we take him at 13? We could have had that young fella. Because I mean, getting Devin Carter was great, I guess, but I wanted to go, kind of either get a shooter or get a big like him, a athletic, quicker big that we could play DeMontis at the 4 sometimes, or he could back up DeMontis at the 5 too. That's what I thought we should have done, but I trust Monty. I've come to trust him so far. I just hope that we're not back to doing our old ways, taking Jimmer for dead instead of Klay Thompson.
No, I don't think we're doing that, Ox. No, I think them days is over. No, we ain't going back to the 2006, 2008. No, I think them time. We ain't moving back to the projects, Ox. We not. No, we not.
I hope not. Yeah.
We're not moving back there. No, we not.
God, I can't take it. take it. The Tribe once sent the super chat. Chill. He says, if I'm the Heat, I'm using these next 3 years as a push for a ring. Go get a PG. I'd say Davion, develop Ware, keep Jimmy for this run.
I think we already got everything that we're going to get out of buckets. That's why I'm ready to move off of him. The reason why I'm ready to move off of him, not just because we've gotten everything out of him, but I feel like these are Bam's peak years. We're already in his prime, but I feel like these are his peak years, and I want to build this unit around a guy who's in his peak. So I probably got 4 more years tops of this Bam. I'm still going to have Bam in his prime at 31 years old, but peak Bam, this time I feel like this is where the door is open, and this is when I have the best opportunity to build around him and win a championship. Because I can tell you right now, you see the parity in the league, and you see how many different teams have been winning. Denver, the Celtics, the Warriors, the Lakers, right? Milwaukee. You see these teams, and then once they win, it gets a little tricky, right? Whether it's the money situation, players get banged up. You see what's going on with with Milwaukee. So I feel like you got to strike when the iron is hot. And at this particular time with Bam, the iron is hot. I think that window was open for 2-3 years tops with him at this level. So we have to trade, or we have to build around him. I feel like we have to build around him and come off of buckets, not because buckets is whack, but because I feel like we've gotten everything that we already going to get from him. Because remember, Ox, the great Bill Wall said, I'd rather trade you 2 years too early than a year too late.
Right. Facts. Okay, so who we got next? Tim Duncan, top 5. What's up, brother?
What up?
Good morning, fellas. Well, good afternoon, I should say. Good afternoon.
What up?
How y'all fellas doing, man?
Running good, Joe. Running good.
Yes, sir. As far as like the off-season moves and everything is concerned, to you guys, what is the one of the more sneakier off-season moves that has happened? For me, I would like to think that Harrison Barnes going to the Spurs is one of the sneakier moves because it gives them extra benefit for shooting on the wing and extra defense. And I don't think a lot of people are really looking at the Spurs as a really good option as a team that might make the play in. So, just what do you guys, as far as you have seen so far, what are your sneakiest moves so far?
So
wait one second, chill. Wait one second, chill. You know what? Now go ahead. Go ahead, chill. Go ahead. We only got 30 minutes left. Forget it. I was going to say for a minute.
I know that we're moving into that. But what I was gonna ask Tim is, okay, so the Spurs won 22 games last year. To get into the play-in, it's going to take 46 games. That's 24 more games winning.
46 to get into the play-in.
Not the playoffs, Ox. The play-in. That's what it took. That's what it took last year. 46 wins to get into the play-in tournament, right? So with 46 wins, what has San Antonio done? Like, what kind of jump am I expecting from Wemby for them to be plus 24 more wins? And that's just to get into the play-in, Ox. That ain't to get into the playoffs. That's to be the 9-10 seed, right? So what has San Antonio done? What kind of jump am I expecting from Wemby? I'm having that must mean Wemby solidifies himself as a top 10, maybe even a top 5 player. If we're gonna have a win percentage, if we're gonna have a win total of 24 more wins, that also means Chris Paul's gonna have to hold up. With Chris Paul holding up, which he's shown over the years that he's not. With Chris Paul holding up, that means he gets busy. I don't mean busy, but I mean he gets busy. Harrison Barnes, one of the great NBA vets. I love everything about Harrison Barnes. But to ask these dudes, Devin Vassell, Sochan, Castle, these guys playing behind them and playing underneath them to actually take that next step. And when I say the next step, I mean 24 more wins step. That's a big jump, man. That's a huge jump.
Well, I think a lot of it last year, though, when you looked at it, I think a lot of people, and I've heard you say, because I'm a huge fan, but I've heard you say like it was a tough watch, but the only reason why the Spurs were a tough watch last year.
That was 2 years ago before you got Wemby. That was 2 years ago before you got Wemby. Not last year. Keep going.
And even with it being last year, like the reason why a lot of people looked at it like the Spurs were just, a tough watch and things like that is because Pop was using the regular season as a means to get these guys to learn different positions. We started out with Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell in the starting lineup with Sochan. Then we moved Sochan into him playing point guard, which a lot of people question. Then I say we, 'cause I'm a Spurs fan, but Pop took Keldon Johnson out of the starting lineup and moved him to the bench to see what the scoring output would look like from there. So Pop spent all last year just really experimenting with the lineups, where guys fit best, where guys will play at. And so when you talk about, what type of leap or what type of jump are we expecting from Wemby, right, when you put it in perspective, Wemby's age, what we thought Wemby would struggle with, Ox, has said several times, Wemby flashing but having his hands down. You saw by the end of the year, like Wemby was literally flashing, hands up, pointing at the rim, showing that, hey, if you would just threw it here, I could have caught that, could have dunked it, could have caught it, could have laid up. His playmaking increased. Like we saw progressively all year last year that week by week, month by month, Wemby was getting better. So to look at him and say, what type of jump are we expecting? Same thing could have been said. And I always reference it back to him because it's the point that he's at. Look at LeBron. LeBron, his rookie year, averaged 25-5, correct?
Correct.
And then when he came back in the next year, LeBron went up to a whole 25, 25, 7-7. And for the most part, that was LeBron's pretty much his whole career. So if I can look at Wemby and say, if I get him a point guard, which everybody has said, all Wemby needed was a guy who says, Let's get the guy who is 7'4" with the 11-foot wingspan, the ball when he's 6 feet from the rim.
Right.
We saw how Chris Paul turned DeAndre Jordan into a all NBA player. And I know Chris Paul's a little long in the tooth, right? But when you bring in a guy like Castle, and then you look at the other guys around Wemby, and you're saying the Spurs are a team in which, when you look at our team, 4 to 5 of our best players are all lottery picks within the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. And you get veteran leadership with Harrison Barnes, with Chris Paul. I do think that the when you look at the basic number of saying can they get 24 wins, it seems like a lot. But when you put into perspective the whole context of the situation, getting 24 wins could be made up by 10 more wins just by playing Wemby 30, 35 minutes a game, right? And then when you get the other guys that's learning from Chris Paul, like a Castle, when you get guys that like Sochan and Keldon Johnson learning from Harrison Barnes to be tough, getting the extra rebounding, playing defense, you can get about 4 or 5 more wins just from there. So that right there within itself could lead to 15 extra more wins just based off of those guys progressing,
I just feel like that's being really optimistic, and I understand why, because you're a Spurs fan. I get that. But that's being really optimistic when you're talking about, okay, Wemby playing more. I can definitely get with that logic. So Wemby playing more where he plays 30 minutes, right? Because we haven't seen Wemby being injury prone, right? We haven't seen that. So, okay, let's ramp up his minutes a little bit more. Sure, I can get with that logic. So if he plays 30, 32 more minutes a game, all right, I can get with that, sure. But now what you're asking these guys with Chris Paul to be better floor spacers, read the game better. Okay, that jump with Chris Paul, I don't think that happens in a year. Now, if we're talking about a younger Chris Paul who was not longer but shorter in the tooth, I think that we're having a different conversation. If he was Chris Paul from 2021, yes. The reason why is because now I think that they could follow him a little bit more and they could be on the floor with him, seeing him as a better Chris Paul. This Chris Paul at the advanced age that he is, I don't think so. I think that you're asking a lot from that aspect. But Wemby, I think Wemby could put another 7-8 wins on you playing more minutes. I can get with that logic.
And I'm saying, what I'm looking at from a perspective when it comes to a Chris Paul, I'm looking at it as it pertains to more like a mentorship. Although I do see him playing, because I don't think we just paid a guy $11 million to just, be on the bench. Right. But when I'm looking at the situation and, what you said, I am a Spurs fan, so I am a little bit more closely tied into it than a lot of people.
Sure.
When we had Avery Johnson and then we drafted Tony Parker, the thing was, is Tony going to be ready? Avery Johnson is the vet who's been here a while. Tony was the guy that was coming in from France. He was small. They wasn't sure if he could handle, because during that time, Chill and Ox, you guys know, like it was a physical league back then. Sure. So it was like, Tony was small as far as his weight and his build. Tony was a slight guy. So it was like, can he really handle the physicality of the league? Right. And, through an off-season workout and then being with Avery and then being with Coach Pop, as the story goes, Tony, 5-10 games within the season, Greg Popovich says, hey, Tony, you're starting, you got to give us a new, bit of energy. You have speed, we're going to need that. I'm looking at that same similar way playing out with Castle and Chris Paul. I'm looking at Chris Paul starting, the first, maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 games of the season, whatever it takes for, us to feel like Castle is up to speed. And then, all right, Castle, you're a bigger guard. You're at this point, especially in Chris Paul's career, you're more shiftier than him and you're a better defender than he is. And, with Chris Paul bringing that leadership off the bench and Harrison Barnes bringing in that extra veteran leadership, like I said, the 24 wins does seem like a lot. But when you add in the other elements, including the fact that we were only playing Wemby like 25, 27 minutes a game last year, if we boost that to like 30, 32, and then we get the progression from the guys like Vassell and Sochan, I do think that making up that gap in wins, it makes it a little bit more feasible than what people are thinking, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
You don't buy that shit?
It's gonna be. I seen Sochan and I like Devin Vassell. I'm not gonna argue that. I seen Sochan. I like Devin Vassell, and your logic about Tony Parker, sure, that works. But what also worked was he had a year 4 Tim Duncan, so that also helped. Like we don't have a year 4 Tim Duncan on this crew, so I don't know what Wemby's gonna look like in year 2. Wemby could have the sophomore slump. I don't want to say that he's going to, because I do think that Wemby takes the leap, but. Man, I think you asking a lot, my man. I do. I think you asking a lot.
Yeah. I do want to say before we let you go, Tim, I feel where you're coming from, and I agree to a certain extent. I do think that Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, I think they help this team for the future, bringing that professionalism and teaching some of the young guys. And I think if everybody takes a step up, Vassell, Sochan, Keldon Johnson, Wemby, I think that will get better. Play-in, playoff, I'm not sure yet, but hey, that's coming from a guy that said I think the Wizards will be in the play-in this year. So hey, I feel where you're coming from, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. Great insight, fam. Don't hesitate to click that link next Saturday, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. No problem, fellas. Hey, man, like I said, man, huge fan of both of you guys, man. Chill. Huge support of your channel. Big Ox Bob, huge support of your channel, man. Just a big, huge fan, man. I'm glad. I'm really, really, really honored to see what you guys are doing, man. And I love the content, man. You guys keep it up. We ain't got to listen to other people's opinion, but Ox knows what I'm talking about, but we'll leave that alone for now, man.
Absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you. No doubt.
All right,
yes,
man.
sir.
Thanks.
I don't know, Ox. I mean, I do get it, but to go from the bottom to the top is hard. to go from the bottom to the top is hard, especially when these teams every year they are building and they're getting better. Like we're not. Don't get me wrong. I know San Antonio is not sitting pat like Portland did in 2019 or like Atlanta did, where we're just gonna run it back. No, they're trying to improve their crew, but everybody else is too. So
yeah, certainly
that's asking a lot. It is.
I think if those young fellas take a good step up, Vassell, Keldon, Sochan, and Wemby. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, even if it's not this year, that team, I think they're heading in the right direction. Step up with the young fella, Stephon Castle too as well. I can see San Antonio having a bright future. We got one more person in the lobby. Let's get to him before we move on. What's up?
What's up
with your boy?
What's up?
So I'm gonna get straight to the point. Already told Ox this. I've been waiting on this day since the very first episode of the panel. I'm on your helmet. So there's a couple things that I got in terms of problems with you. We don't got a lot
with me.
Yeah, with you. Ox cool. You know what I'm saying?
Bring it.
I'm only going to get to one because I know you don't have a lot of time.
No, don't worry about the time. Bring it. You don't kick somebody's door in and go, I only want to fight a little bit. Nah, bring it.
It's okay. I'm going to kick your door in again next week. I'm going to be back.
Put your dukes up. What's up?
So we're going to start with the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, right? I already know your top 10. I got it from 1 to 10. I know it from the back of my hand, and I know your criteria. And based on your criteria, I don't see why Wilt Chamberlain should even be in your top 10, let alone above Bill Russell. So we're going to get to it, right? So we're going to start one by one. So your first criteria is, did you win, correct?
No, it's not my first criteria. No,
it's one of them, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it's lower. It's lower on the list.
All right. So what's your first one?
My first one is does your game translate?
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so I want to know how Wilt Chamberlain's game.
So you coming in, so you don't even know what you're talking about coming in, but that's okay.
Oh, so you want to be like that? All right, cool. So we're gonna turn the oven up a little bit. So when it comes to Wilt Chamberlain, I want to know how his game translates more than Bill Russell. When Bill Russell's a better defender than him, he's a better rebounder than him, he's a better passer than him, he's a better playmaker than him. The only thing Wilt Chamberlain does better than Bill Russell is score. He was
That's
selfish.
so not true.
He was better passer.
That is not true.
Yes, he was a better passer. The only reason
you have no evidence to prove that.
I do have evidence because I watched the film. The only reason why you think Wilt Chamberlain's a better passer than Bill Russell is because he averaged more assists.
No, that's not it neither.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Because if you watch Wilt Chamberlain play, he wasn't even the best. He wasn't even the best passer in his own era. He wasn't better than Bill Russell. He wasn't better than Wes Unseld. He wasn't better than He wasn't better than Bill Walton. He wasn't better than any of them niggas in terms of passers. He wasn't better than them. The only reason why Wilt Chamberlain was averaging so many assists is because the ball was in his hands. He was purposely sabotaging his team to get his numbers. That's well documented. You can laugh all you want.
The only reason why you scoring more, Ox, because you got the ball. What the hell? That's the only reason why you scoring, because you taking the most shots, Ox.
But that's the point. That's the point, though. Wilt Chamberlain was
kind of dumbass logic. Wilt Chamberlain was winning when I started passing the ball. And I wasn't just passing the ball.
He started passing the ball because he wasn't winning doing what he was doing before, and that's well documented. That's well documented. He started passing the ball out of spite. That's well documented. We can pull it. We can pull the articles up. It's well documented.
Out of spite.
It's well documented.
Okay, so if we're doing that, then we got to do that with a whole bunch of other guys. Why do you think Jordan? Was
I can do that with everyone, but I'm talking about I'm talking about Wilt Chamberlain right now.
We can do the same thing with Bill Russell too. We could do the same thing with Bill Russell. At what point got on the bomb squad? Bill Russell got on the bomb squad. That's the only reason why he was good. That's documented. That's not my opinion, sir. That's a fact. That is documented. That's documented. Bill Russell, the only reason why he was as awesome as he was because he was on a bomb squad. Bill Russell made it clear. That's not the case.
You can use that same logic for Wilt Chamberlain. He was also on the bomb squad. Other than Bill Russell Celtics, Wilt Chamberlain had the best team in that era. Is that true or false?
That's why they won. That's why the only team to beat the Celtics.
Okay, then. Well, that's technically not true because the St. Louis Hawks beat Bill Russell in '58, but he was hurt that year.
In the '60s, from '60 to '69, there's only one team to beat the Celtics. That's it.
You said Bill Russell's career. Did you say Bill Russell's career?
I did not say his career. I said in the '60s.
All right,
that's documented. Focus, my man.
So when it comes to Wilt Chamberlain, when it comes to Bill Russell, at no point did Bill Russell ever sabotage his team purposely to get his numbers. He was always about impacting the team and winning. Wilt Chamberlain is well documented the same way Hakeem Olajuwon was purposely sabotaging his team's chances of winning to get his numbers. The only time he won is when he took a step back to what's my man's name on the team?
Chet Walker, Greer.
Yeah, Hal Greer. When he took a backseat to Hal Greer and he started being more of a facilitator and more of a connective passer, that's when he started winning. And then even then, he didn't win again. He did win again from '67 until '72 when he went and joined Jerry West and the Lakers. Bill Russell from '58 won his first championship. Right, he got hurt the very next year in '59. Right. And then, in '57 he won his first championship. Got hurt in '58, and then from '59 to '66 he didn't lose once. The only team that beat him was Chamberlain's team. The next year, '67, and then he went on to beat him again in '68, and then he won his last chip in '69, and then he retired after that.
Still the only team to beat them, though.
Okay, cool. But what I'm saying to you is, how can his game translate more into other eras when I believe Bill Russell was a better defender. I think that should be a consensus.
So you don't even believe. So it's not a fact. You just believe it. Like somebody convinced you of that. That's what happened. There's no. There is no. There is no. You just said you believe it, which means it's not a fact.
All of this is opinionated, is it not?
You just said you believe it.
Yeah,
right?
the same way that you believe Chamberlain is better than Russell. Is that a fact, yes or no?
I think so.
I think it's a fact.
I come up with facts on how I think.
I gave you facts. Did I not give you facts? Did he not beat from? All right. Matter of fact, you want to talk facts? Okay, cool. From 1960 to '69, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain played each other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and Chamberlain only beat him once.
Yep.
Once. Now, and in '63.
Since you brought that up, who else beat him?
Nobody else.
Okay. I'm the only guy to do it. I'm the only guy to do it.
Okay, cool. But
I'm the only guy.
Okay, cool. But I beat you 8 times before that.
It doesn't matter how many times you beat me. I'm the only guy to beat you. Nobody else beat you except me. That's it.
Okay, but then he went. Okay, but then he left. Fact.
Not only am I the only guy to beat you. Not only am I the only guy to beat you. Everything that I did has been historical. Everything. So in '67. I'm the only guy to beat you. In '72, the team that I was on, since you brought up being on great teams, my team won what? 60? I think they won 68 games, 69 games. That's also a record in the NBA at that time. And I averaged almost 20 and 20 that year. I finished second, right? I finished second that year in league MVP votes while I'm actually advanced in my age at age 34, I think that he was.
He
age
finished third in MVP.
No, I'm talking about He didn't win the league MVP that year. He finished
You're talking
second.
about 72, right?
I'm talking about 72. He didn't win the league MVP.
He finished at number 3.
He finished behind Jerry West. I know that for a fact. And
I'm looking at it. He finished number 3.
Of course you're looking at it because you don't know off the top of your head like I do. So with that being said, the point that I'm making is everything Chamberlain did from a player perspective, from a team perspective, is historical. Everything that you say about all guys like Bill Russell, for example, Bill Russell was a better rebounder than him. I averaged more rebounds a game than him.
Averaging more rebounds doesn't make you a better rebounder.
And it doesn't. But you know what else? But you know what it does? It produces. And what I did was I pulled down I'm the all-time leading rebounder in NBA history. That's
okay, but what did it? Okay, but it's more than
That's
just that.
We
just said. I'm
not done. So with that being said, I pulled down 55 rebounds against you. That's what I did. I pulled down 55 rebounds against you. That's an NBA record to this day. I did that against you. I didn't do that against anybody else. I did that against the best rebounder of the era. I did that against you. I didn't do that against nobody else, right? And they changed all the rules in the league for me to not prosper, only except I did. I still became points per game, the all-time leading scorer. I still did that. I still became the best rebounder of my era. I still beat you when nobody else could do it. I did it. I still was on the best team in the 70s. Set a record, by the way, that wasn't broken until 1996. That was 24 years later. Nobody had done that before I did it. So all of that stuff you're talking about Chamberlain, my numbers were down, actually. My numbers were actually down, even though I still averaged 30 and 30 against you for my career. So I averaged 30 and 30 against you. Nobody else did that. I beat you. Nobody else did that. I'm still the all-time leading rebounder in NBA history. Nobody did that. I still average the most points in NBA history. Nobody else did that until Jordan showed up. And they changed all the rules for me. They didn't change all the rules for everybody else. They changed all the rules for me, and I still got busy. So with that being said,
you're still losing, yeah.
With the winning, right? With the winning, not just the winning, and in the fashion that I'm winning, and what I did against you, I'm better than you.
See, this is where you lost me because
I can lose you. There's nothing that you can say to that. There's nothing that you can say to that.
Just 15 seconds ago, you said that averaging more rebounds doesn't make you a better rebounder, but then you proceeded to list off all of his rebounding numbers. So then does it make
production matter? What I produce matter.
You just said averaging more rebounds doesn't make you a better rebounder. That production leads to nothing because he didn't win. He kept losing.
I did win.
He kept losing. He kept losing.
Did we not beat Russell? Did I not beat you? I beat you. So what you're talking about doesn't matter because I beat you.
How many times did he lose to Russell in that stretch?
I'm the only one to beat you. That's it.
How many times did he lose to Russell?
You can keep talking about the winning all you want. I'm the only one to beat you. Nobody else beat you.
We're talking about games.
You can't argue that fact. You can dance around that all you want. All the winning that you can talk about, there is nobody in this decade that beat you but me. Nobody.
He lost to him 8 times.
And then anything else that you tell me goes in one ear and out the other. Nobody else beat you but me. Nobody.
Okay, that's fine.
You can't argue nothing else.
That's fine. We can keep arguing.
Nobody else beats you except me.
We can keep arguing because it's not just about the winning. It's not just about the winning.
What you're basing everything on is you won. Nobody else beat you but me.
It's not because there's more to it. There's more to it.
No, it's not.
Your only criteria is not winning. Your only criteria is not just winning. It's also about your game translating. Can you explain to me why Wilt Chamberlain would be better in today's era than Bill Russell, who, like I said, was a better defender than him? He was able to guard more positions. He was able to guard in space. He was a better rebounder than him. He was a better passer and playmaker.
You can't prove that. You can't prove that.
I can't prove that.
You can't prove that.
There's footage. There's footage of it.
You can't prove that Wilt Chamberlain. You can't prove that Bill Russell was, first and foremost, 1, Chamberlain was a better athlete. 2, he was a better rim protector. 3, he was a better rebounder. You can disagree with it all you want. They actually didn't take stats of stuff like that, right?
I know they did.
But if you're watching the game, like you talk about, if you're watching the game, the rim protector that Chamberlain was much better than Bill Russell. The rebounder that Chamberlain was much better. The floor spacer that he was, the offensive player that he was, the guy in transition that he was, all of those things better than Bill Russell. Bill Russell, I won't argue, the best winner, and definitely woven into the crew and did whatever was necessary. If you needed buckets, I'll do that. If you need me to rebound, I'll do that. If you need me to defend, I will do all of that stuff in order for us to win. Very much like what Tim Duncan did.
That point right there. That's the point right there.
Very much like what Tim Duncan did. But the same logic can be proven with Chamberlain. Why? Because when I did we won.
No, it can't. It can't. It can't because Wilt Chamberlain up until that point again, he wasn't doing the stuff needed to be done
Did
to
he
win.
do it? Did he start passing the ball in order for us to win?
He started because he realized he wouldn't win doing the bullshit he was doing before.
Did they win? Yes or no?
Yes, he won. Yes.
So that's a moot point. Whether or not you feel that way, he did do it.
It's not a new point because
he
Bill
did
Russell
and they won. So it doesn't make a
Russell
difference
came,
whether or
Bill
not
Russell,
you feel that way.
Bill
The
Russell
fact
came
is that I did what was necessary in order for us to win, just like Bill Russell did.
You had to be convinced to do that.
It doesn't make a difference whether or not I was convinced or not. That doesn't matter in us me being better than you.
If I'm a liability to my team,
it doesn't matter if I got to be convinced of it. I
yes,
still
it
did
does.
it. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. If I'm a liability to my team to the point that we're losing because of me, because we're losing because of me, and somebody had to convince me, to be a winning player,
did I do that in order for us to win? Yes, I did. Did we win? Yes, we did.
What did it take for him to do that, though? What did it take?
Did I do it?
It does make a difference because Bill Russell came into the NBA. Bill Russell came into the NBA already willing to do.
Question. Did I do it? Yes or no?
I already answered the question. Yes.
Okay, so why are we still talking about this? I did what was necessary in order for us to win.
Because you're lying, bro. Because you're lying.
What are you talking about? I'm lying.
You're lying. You're sitting here
in order for us to win, I gotta start passing the ball more. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Did I start doing that? Yes or no?
Why did he start doing it?
So where's the lie at then?
Why did he start doing it?
Where's the lie, sir?
Tell me why he started doing it.
Where is the lie?
Tell me why he started doing it.
That's my question to you.
Answer my question.
Where is the lie,
Answer my question. Why did he start doing it?
One question. You
why
talked about Bill Russell doing everything necessary to win.
Why did he start becoming a better passer?
Your whole logic is based on him not being convinced. Whether or not I'm convinced, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I did it. That's what matters.
Answer the question.
What matters is that I did it.
Why did he become more of a passer?
What was the reason? I still did it.
What was the reason?
All the other stuff you're talking about goes out the window. So where is the lie, sir?
What was the reason?
Question.
Well, you're failing to answer the question.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to step in here, fellas. I think we hit a brick wall. I don't think we're gonna get too much further than this. Let's jump back into this. Let's jump back into this next. Let's jump back into this next Saturday. We do got a couple things we got to get to before the suits kick the door in, and we got to get out of here. Hey, once I appreciate you pulling up. Hey, at least you brought the ruckus. You came. You had a point. You had to get off what you had to get off. Much respect. Mm-hmm. Check us out again on next Saturday. If you got anything else, chill ain't ducking no smoke.
Hell no.
No doubt.
I ain't hard to find.
Yeah, we'll be right here. Let me get to this because we don't got too much time left here. I want you to grade some of these moves.
Sure.
Just the regular letter grades, A through F. And obviously, if you want, you can elaborate on them all you want, of course. Mm-hmm. I want to start with KCP. What letter grade do you give that move for KCP to Orlando?
Considering what they have, they upgraded on the wing as defenders. I mean, you can make the argument with KCP that KCP is playing at an all-league defensive level, 100%. So that's an upgrade for them on their wings with Jalen Suggs, with Jonathan Isaac. So now you got another long ball shooter, right? You got a vet. I give them an A for that. 100% I give them an A for that. I really think he helps them, Ox. Yes. I really think KCP helps them. Yes, I do.
Just straight A, no A minus,
no A minus. I'll give them a straight A because considering what they needed, right? Considering what they needed, they got a guy who can stretch the defense. They got not only a guy who can stretch the defense, they got a guy who can defend, who's playing at that level. And he's not just a good defender; he's elite, right? And he's playing at an all-league defensive level. So with him playing at that level, with Suggs already also playing at an all-league defensive level, with Jonathan Isaac, who you can probably get if you think about all the other teams. I'm not sure how much more value you can get from a guy in Jonathan Isaac that you can get from other guys in the league, especially for the minutes that he plays. Now you add in what Paolo brings. Now you add in what both Mo and his brother bring in terms of box work, in terms of glass work, in terms of offense. To add KCP to that, I think it's great. I think it's great.
Okay, so that's an A for KCP, y'all. Hey, chat, mind you, y'all leave y'all letter grades in here too. When I say something, you drop the letter grades. A, B, C, D, F. Go ahead. Next, the brother a couple times ago, couple guests ago, he brought up Harrison Barnes. Mm-hmm. What grade are we giving Harrison Barnes to the Spurs?
I'm not a fan. I'm a huge fan of vets. right? So a guy like Jeremy Sochan, you know, he's 20 years old, 21 years old, right? So I need to learn how to be a professional. And I'm not really sure how many guys are more professional than Harrison Barnes, right? So having a guy like Harrison Barnes around, Devin Vassell, Sochan, having a guy like Chris Paul around, having guys like that around is really going to enhance your crew, really going to help your team. I can't see a better fit. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got other vets in the league like Al Horford, like Chris Paul. Luckily for him, the fact that that dude is on his crew, that helps him even more. But now it's not like Harrison Barnes is PJ Tucker, where he's 38, 39 years old and he can't play. He can still play, Ox. He can still play, and he's still damn good for this crew. So I give them a B, maybe even a B+. I like it.
Okay. Okay. Next, I have DeMar DeRozan.
I like it, Ox. I do. I'll give it a B. I do. Because I think another wing scorer that you didn't have, the fact that Sacramento, I feel like y'all get back to playing fast like y'all did a year ago. I feel like DeMar DeRozan, who still has something left in the tank. Sure, he's not a great defender. Sure, he doesn't stretch the defense like that. But as a transition player and as a one-on-one player in the mid-range where you open up the floor even more, I definitely give you guys a B for what you're doing. I think he's going to play really well off of De'Aaron Fox, really well.
Okay. Who I got next? Klay Thompson.
I'm not a big Klay Thompson guy. I think that a lot of people just see the name and they think that it's still Klay. I give it a C, Ox. I think the guy that we really don't pay much attention to, the guy that we should pay more attention to is Najee Marshall. I think that was the steal in this free agency. I like Klay on that crew. I give him a C.
Klay got a C. Klay got a C. What would you give Najee?
A B, maybe even a B+. Because I think he brings what Derrick Jones Jr. didn't bring, which is a consistent long ball shooter. I think that the defense is pretty close. Not the athleticism. I think that they're completely separated, but I think that I do think that they upgraded at that spot. I do. So I'll give them a C with Klay Thompson.
Okay. Next I have the big fella, Jonas Valanciunas, to the Wizards.
Well, same logic that I used, Ox, with Harrison Barnes going to San Antonio. You need vets. You need guys that are going to show guys exactly how to become pros and to be better. And I don't think that there's a guy that Sarr could learn from more in terms of just being more physical. Because one of the things that I hear about Sarr is that he's soft. You know, me and Mars had this conversation about him being soft. Well, I'll tell you who you're not going to be soft around. You ain't going to be soft around Valanciunas. Not at all. Not at all are you going to be soft around him. So I think he can toughen him up. 100% I do. I'll give that a C+, B-. I'll give it a B-, Ox.
B-. Okay, that's fair. Okay, here we go. Tobias Harris to Detroit.
Ox, I'm not really sure about this. I mean, I know that he can help, but I feel like the same logic that I'm using with vets. You do need these vets in order for you to advance and for guys to get better. But I feel like they're building something. They're trying to build something in Detroit. The problem was with the coach. Like Monty Williams didn't want to be there. I think JB Bickerstaff is a good coach. Adding Tobias Harris, I think he's going to help them from a vet standpoint, but I don't think that he can help them that much. I'll give them a C- for that.
Okay. What we got? I got four more. 4 more. Let me go with Mikal Bridges.
I love the Mikal. That's why I wanted to let OG walk, Ox, off the strength that I had Mikal Bridges, who I think he's a 3-man, but the fact that they ended up bagging him, I got him on the cheap. I think that's an A, Ox. For what you had to give up all those draft picks, which with all the assets that you already have now, I can get draft picks back later. That's what I'm banking on. I can get draft picks back later when I'm moving off of some of these young guys. I can possibly get some of these draft picks back later. But the fact that you got Mikal on the cheap, 2 years, $22, $23 million for the value that he brings for this crew, which now a need that you had, now that you supplanted that, man, I definitely think that the Knicks really bagged him in a good way. So I give them an A for that. Yes.
Another
A.
Okay.
I give them an A for that.
Paul George.
I think Paul George can still play, Ox. I still think that he's viable, and I think he's going to help Philly in a way that they didn't have last year. I think he's an upgrade from Tobias Harris. He gives them a better one-on-one player on the wing. I think he gives them a better long ball shooter. I think he gives them a better mid-range shooter, a guy who can stretch the defense a little bit more. I think he's a rep defender today more than he's been in the past. So I'm not going to give you that. But Ox, this whole thing is contingent on Joel Embiid. So, I mean, bagging Paul George is good. I won't argue that. I'll give them a B for Paul George, because what I don't want to do, Ox, is I don't want to look at Paul George like he's Paul George. No, he's not that dude anymore. He could still go, right? He could still go, but he's just not Paul George from 3 years ago, the super high flying, super freak athlete that he used to be, right? He's not that dude, but he can still go. So I'll give him a B for bagging him. I do.
Okay. Alex Caruso.
I love Alex Caruso in Oklahoma City. That wing defender. Because I think he, for some reason, I think him and Lou Dort are the same size, but for some reason I feel like he's bigger than Lou Dort. I think he's the best one of the best on-ball defenders you have in the league, if not the best on-ball defender that you have in the league. One of the 5 best perimeter defenders in the league. He can stretch the defense because he can knock down open shots. So he takes that pressure off Shea. He takes that pressure off J-Dub on the perimeter, guys that they're having trouble with. And he can also open up the offense for them for what they had to give up. So they give up Josh Giddey and a need, which was another perimeter defender, to come off of Josh Giddey. I love it, Ox. I'll give it an A-. I will.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And last, but I hope certainly not least, got to ask you this one. Mm-hmm. The Denver Nuggets acquiring Russell Westbrook. What is the grade on that move? We talked about it for like 2 hours yesterday.
Yes, we did. We talked about it.
Had to be a big deal
yesterday, and I like it, Ox. To be quite honest with you, I'll give it a B. I think Russ is a great rotation guy. I think he's really going to be able to help this team. I think he speeds them up. They played with one of the slowest paces in the league last year. With Russ actually helping Joker. I know this sounds crazy for a 35-year-old league guard, but the fact that Russ can now help Joker rebound, he can speed the game up a little bit more. In addition to him speeding the game up a little bit more, he can get guys like Aaron Gordon, who's running the floor, MPJ, who's running the floor, spotting up in transition, right? Guys like that, Joker rim running when he's got Russ, who specifically asked for him, by the way, Ox. Let's make sure we clear on that. Joker specifically asked for Russell Westbrook, who can speed the game up, get Joker running to the rim, get Michael Porter Jr. cracking the long ball, get Aaron Gordon running to the rim. Now, he's not going to be able in the half court to be what you want from a scoring standpoint, because, again, that was years ago. But I still think that he can help this team. Ox, I'm giving him a B+. I'm giving him a B+ for this. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot.
Right on.
I like it a lot. I do.
Well, we got through the grades of the offseason. It was a heck of a show. Appreciate everybody that pulled up. We are back on YouTube, y'all. As you see here, we are back on YouTube. This is where we'll be next Saturday as well. So if you're looking for us, pull up here next Saturday, noon Eastern. This is the place to be. Appreciate everybody once again. Thanks a lot. Chill Town.
Hey, man. You know where to find us at. This is where we are. Until then, put on a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. If you ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, my man over here, pick up the phone. He'll come scoop you. He will not have you out here just walking the streets drunk. Nah, he'll come scoop you. Just pick up the telephone and call him. He got you. We will see you guys then. Until then, take it light, but take it.
All right, y'all.
Yep.